following is a presentation of MRE Uno, Division 1.
Welcome to the continuation of the coverage of T4 for the 2025 MRE Uno tournament here in Jackpot June. We make our way into the Hearts region here in the morning in preparation for the first of 3 streamed games here on a Monday. And in Jackpot June here in the round of 32, is this the round of the upset? Is this the round where the underseeded participant has the royal flush to the straight flush of the higher seeded? Who knows? Because as of right now, we know that 2 of our number 1 seeds have been eliminated. Yepez was defeated by Nam. Myth was eliminated by Yoshi. Matt Johnson has moved on, and we still wait to see about the number 1 seed of hockey. He plays tomorrow night as to whether we'll have at least 50% of our number 1 seeds move on. The number 2 seeds, though, they're getting ready to be in action. As today we have KT versus Lara. And for KT, he's kind of been waiting in the wings. He had a bye during the round of 64. For Lara, though, he was able to go up against a tough opponent in Chomik and able to notch another little caveat there into his resume. Take a look at the 2 of them coming into this matchup, and obviously the bye there for KT, but a 4-2 victory over Chomik for Lara coming into this one. Look at their records here in the round of 32. Obviously the numbers advantage with the number of games played there for KT, but a 2-1 average there in the round of 32 for Lara, not too bad. We'll have to see if that's going to put him in good stead or not. Obviously with KT having the bye, we didn't have a look at his resume back in the round of 64, so we'll look at it here in the round of 32. Advanced into the Final Four back in March Madness, was eliminated in the round of 8 in Automotive April, and then was eliminated in this round, the round of 32, back in Masquerade May. But take a look at a telling thing on all 3 of these tournaments. Ashley placed second after defeating him. Gon placed second after defeating him. And Abayan placed on the podium in third. This says that for Lara here today, if you're able to defeat a formidable opponent in KT, you've got a very good chance of placing high here in Jackpot June. A lot of people have been able to go on and do great things here with their resumes when they're able to take KT down, but he is a tough man to take down. Take a look here at the bracket coming into here on the Hearts region. Winner of this matchup will move on to face off against the number 3 seed in Toasty, as he was able to defeat William Brock in a 4-2 victory. We'll see if it's going to be maybe a legendary 2 versus 3 seed in the straight 16, or can Lara pull off the upset. And as mentioned, it is the first of 3 streams here today, as later on this afternoon at 2, we head into the Spades region with Charles Sanford taking on 14 seed Brian, and then we remain in the Spades region at 7 o'clock tonight as Varigold will take on James Ellison. Later on this evening, unstreamed game with number 2 seed Brad taking on Stingray at 9 p.m. in the clubs region to close out this beginning of the week. Let's head on down here to the table. We've got Nam on reffing. Vapor joins me on commentary. And Vapor, it kind of seems like at this point in time, we talk about all the puns of, Jackpot June, whether it's casino-based or what have you, but it seems like both these individuals kind of playing with house money. For KT, an opportunity to advance further into the straight 16, be able to continue to build his resume towards Super League. But for Lara, coming off an upset victory against Chomik back in the round of 64, as I mentioned, if you defeat KT, we saw there with that resume here in these first 3 tournaments, you've got a very high percentage chance of finishing really high in the tournament.
Yeah, I mean, to put my 2 cents in, I feel like when it comes to a game like this where you have up and coming Lara who has kind of done a fair amount of nothing for his most of his career, but is finally really starting to make a push towards relevance and actually making some sort of splash. I mean, 10 seed feels low for Lara in this tournament here, but if we want to talk about house money, I mean, at the end of the day, this is kind of KT's house too. He's playing with his own money right now. I feel, I mean, buy island, but you earned that buy island. So we'll see if the rust from being on buy island a little bit um, has some sort of a factor. But I feel like with a player as experienced as KT, 20 plus years of doing this, I feel like rust doesn't stop him as much, but Lara has that momentum from a round 1 win, so rust versus momentum. We'll see. We'll see if that plays a factor into this game at all.
Rust versus momentum. KT, you got eliminated in the round of 32 there back during movie May, but advanced as high as the Elite 8 and even into the Final 4 back during March Madness. Little bit of an off season for you there back in the final tournament. Have the bye here, kind of getting the wheels turning here in the round of 32. To the case there of Vapor, is it the rust over momentum? And another thing I'm wondering here as well, I remember back to the Saturday game we covered between Myth and Yoshi, and Myth said, I'm not taking anything for granted here. I know Yoshi's a formidable opponent, and Yoshi was able to defeat him pretty handily in a 4-1 victory. What is the aspect here looking at Lara on the other side of the table, especially coming off that victory against Chomik?
Well, I was there with Lara when he was playing Chomik. First off, shout out to the fans for coming here. Obviously, it's a KT game, especially at 11 o'clock. The fans are going to be here, which is always great. But at the end of the day, I look at this and I will start backtracking. You look at resume, it's the best, and it's just the best. And I thank everyone. I mean, I've had so many good wins this season. Guys like Pat Johnson, Costa, Drip has stepped up, Stingray. All the other guys have really allowed me to just relax, play this house money mentality, try some experimental things, and I can't thank them enough. It's really a two-sided coin because when you think you beat Mac and Acosta in March, you're thinking, all right, well, there goes my season. I'm going to have to go out there and win 10 win. But with the way these guys have been playing quad 1 and Costa's really close to quad 2 now, Drip as well is probably going to move in, Stingray, it's just helping me. So it gives me a little bit more momentum knowing I have this really, really good position. As for Lara, I mean, I studied the damn tape twice. He was playing exceptional. I saw the overlooks he was doing, and maybe at the beginning of the game, and it's the only thing I could really see where I could maybe expose it. But he did great. He did the patience game fantastically. And we talk about metas here. The meta is going to be the meta. At the end of the day, he's going to have a big advantage. I won't have my CPU. I'm only on my phone today. I'm going to have to learn that a little bit, try to do some stuff in practice because usually I have double device. So it's going to be a little bit of a learning curve to start. I'm not going to lie, but once I get in the rhythm, I'll be good. Whatever happens here today, really good spot. Top 3 entering Super League right now. And of course, Nick lost. And you look up behind me, Yepez and Myth are gone. I just used that as, all right, it's just more house money, right? And I think Pat Johnson opened the floodgates T3 after what happened when he did go out there and win the whole thing. Sometimes you just got to go free, and I thank him for that. I think I gave him a lot of tips in this game and in life, and he gave me the one tip, after we were talking in lounge the other day, man. Sometimes you just got to go out there, go free, and explore the world, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to explore a little bit, have a little fun, going to do some good things, and I wish Lara the best. He's a good player, man. 4 wins on the season, and he's got a big carry in front of him. I'm sure he'll be hungry for sure.
Yeah, Lara, big victory for you against Chomik. A little battle tested here, if you will, in Jackpot June. What's the mindset coming in here, facing off against somebody that's got that lengthy resume like KT, coming off a bye there, and then also as well hitting a personal landmark for yourself, should hit the 100th career game here in D1 during the course of this series?
I mean, what can I say? It's the big boss man himself. I'm more like, he's one of the top players in the entire thing. So there's a little gonna be a little on edge, but I just gotta play to the best of my ability. Sorry, what was the question?
Just the motivation here with coming up to your in this series, you're gonna be playing your 100th career game.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I do think I can win because I played very well against Chomik, and um, that was I guess that's kind of like the warm up of this game is going to be. Yeah, I think I'm pretty motivated. Sorry for these really nothing answers. I just don't know what to say.
Fair enough, fair enough. Well, we'll let the two of them get into their mindset and preparation for this. For those who have never tuned into these games before, it is a best of 7. The highest seed in KT would get the first 2 homestands. Lara would get the next 2 homestands, and then it is 1 apiece in games 5, 6, and if necessary, game 7. 1 power play available to each player during the course of this series. It's going to be a lot of fun to see how this all plays out. You see there all the stuff being put in by our referee Nam. We'll now head down to KT. He's the highest seed. He's got the first homestand. What are we kicking things off with?
Let's go 12-pack, baby. Let's do it.
Going an even dozen to kick this thing off here, Vapors. So kind of in that tier where you may have to rely on some number efficiency in the early going, but there's at least room to be able to get some pretty valuable ammunition as well.
Absolutely. It's the highest edge of that mid tier, the lowest edge of that high tiered card start. We'll see what the ammo shapes out to be. With 12, it's a little bit fickle, right? It's on, like you said, on the border of I can get a lot of ammo, but also I can rely on number efficiency. And if you get shorted on ammo here, it can be really difficult to win. But also, with 2 players of this much experience and caliber, I'm sure number efficiency will play a role in this game.
You see a lot of times, a lot of your top players, they like to do that light switching right out of the gate. KT immediately off the red into the green, and a little ditto play there from Lara. It's interesting because sometimes it can be a fade off if you end up having that early color swap. It could also be a case of I want to establish the color that I want. Maybe we'll come back to red here, but for right now, I've got some ammunition that I'd like to use over here on the green color.
Yeah, I mean the first thing you do, the goal of switching on that first card is just to throw your opponent off kilter. And is it the question of do they not have red? Do they not have the color? Or are they just trying to get to something that they want better? Or is it just getting rid of numbers in your hand? I feel like sometimes we can read into it a bit more than is necessary, and sometimes it's just I'm getting rid of cards in my hand because I want to get closer to my ammo or my plan A, even if switching right off rip is not necessarily the best move.
interesting too. We get to observe the difference in play style, sometimes the similarities in play styles. We've had games where we've had it rapid fire and then in the course of 2-3 minutes with even a 13-14 card start because people are just so rapid fire knowing exactly what they want to play here. A little bit more of a laid back approach it seems here from Lara. We're going to have a little triple play there, bringing it back to red. That little back to the card that we started out with there with the red 3, but you can see KT a little bit more rapid in his play style. Another thing I've observed here is, a lot of times myself like to hear the commentary and everything. Sometimes a little bit of the commentary insights can maybe play into what your future plays may be, but Lara with completely deafened, just completely laser focused here on this game. It's interesting how everybody has their own little niches on how they like to approach these games.
And that's what I do. I like to deafen up. I like to just focus in and not let the outside noise distract me. But like as you said, sometimes it's nice to be undeafened and listen to what the commentary has to offer. But if you think of it like a sporting event, the basketball players on the court aren't going to hear the guys in the booth. So I think that's something that makes this league so unique and interesting is having everyone just all in the same group, just two players in the arena, two gladiators in the arena, but the gladiators can hear everything else that's going on. They can hear all the outside noise. I think it creates a little more environment of pressure, one could say, in these games.
The wild play there from Lara into the yellow. KT will follow in said color. Interesting there because Lara swapped it back
Double
around
ditto.
to red and
Another
might have
one.
been iced out in red there. So now that might be something KT can keep an eye on. Another little ditto play there as KT goes one down.
Just running it clean so far here in the yellow. Haven't seen a tremendous amount of switching and yet to see the color blue. So blue will be Pandora's for this game. Is this another one of those tricolor meta hands from these two? We'll see who makes the break to blue first. Eventually someone's going to have to. I mean, mathematically, that's what makes sense.
Talk about that tricolor meta hand. I can't tell you the number of times we saw that back in the round of 64 here in Jackpot June. We haven't seen quite as much of it here yet in the round of 32 and Tilt 32, but the series is still young. There's still quite a number of games to determine here before we determine our straight 16s on all 4 of our regions.
Yeah. Still got a lot of time to go, and Lara's typing for quite a minute. Is this an ammo dense hand? It's interesting to see one play ammo early. If this is an ammo dense hand or a play that's a double or a triple is just taking a while to type. I mean that's 1, 2, 3. Oh, so far, yeah. Oh, is it a finish?
Oh wow, it is a finish.
It's ammo dense.
5-bagger to close it out. The +2 into the trip skip ends with the wild, and Lara on the
hand.
road gonna take the first game.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 out of the 12 cards are action cards.
Wow.
That's ammo dense.
Monster hand there. Lara, obviously, we talk about the different approaches and everything. We saw you a little bit slower in the play, but I'm almost wondering here with what Vapor just said there, the ammo dense hand, was this a matter of making sure you just got everything typed in correctly? Because we have seen here in this round of 32, sometimes just the littlest typo can be a difference maker, and you want to make sure you had all your bases covered.
Yeah, I'm no stranger to typoing and then that messing up an entire plan. But yeah, a good hand is a good hand. I just had to get rid of the numbers and then the extra wild because a wild doesn't let you skip a turn. But other than that, is just skip +2. That's it.
KT, is it just a case you had to take that one? Did you have ammo you were storing up for a big finish there and he preempted you, or was there just too much ammo on the other side here?
Nah, I had 12 numbers, so I was going number 12, number off the top, switch it back. I mean, the only thing I could have maybe have done is I had one pocket double number, which was green 1, blue 1, yellow 1, and then I had a green 2, blue 2. What do you do with that? I was honest to God, the fact I even got the 5, it's pretty incredible considering I had nothing. So the only thing I could have maybe done, like I said, was try to save the red off the rip, but all I had was 1 red 4. So yeah, I couldn't do much there. All good. It's game 1. Figured out, okay, 12 maybe a little bit off. We'll see what we can do, make adjustments game 2, but you can't really do much with 12. Best thing you do is just run it down, get the data, and move on for sure.
We've seen a lot of people lose the first game on the road here, Vapor. I remember back to the trifecta streams I had back on Saturday. I think there was only one of those 3 games where the first homestand game was won by the home team. So that and going on, a lot of the road participants ended up actually winning the series. So an opportunity here for KT to be able to draw it back here 1-1 on this second game. He's got the second homestand here. Look to tie this series up. KT, what are we looking for? The floor is completely open on whatever you want.
Let's go to 15. Let's full send.
We're full sending in
Full
game
send,
number
baby.
2 here, Vapor. How about that?
Going a little bit ambitious here. Just trying to leave it less to luck and more to his own skill or Lara's own skill. 15, you could argue, is the most skillful card start. And we will see what happens here. I mean, just looking at the stats page right now, I mean, no wilds, no any action cards for KT. Will that change, or will he continue to have unfortunate hands? Just we'll have to find out here.
So we started with an action card. KT caps it off with the red 4. So second hand that he's had a red 4, because he said back during the end of that first game he had the red 4 he could have played off the rip before the light switch on the initial red 3. And now we'll see what Lara's going to be able to do here. With 15 cards, maybe a little bit slower play on both sides because you've got so many different paths that you can utilize depending on what cards played on the other side.
Yeah. I think something that's interesting about Lara's style of play is just how slow it is. Really just hanging on every card, on every play. Gives you time to think, but also time to just squirm as think about what they're going to play and think, are my moves going to be messed up by what they play?
Yeah, the only thing that I can see the slower play being a detriment, and this is completely hypothetical, is let's say that there's a point where Lara's heading the series 3-0 or 3-1 or something like that, and he's one more game to close out the series, and maybe down to the final 4, 5, 6 cards, getting ready to put a chain together. With having the slower play, you leave yourself open for KT, if he's got a power play available, to be able to hit the defensive power play and stop that run. That's maybe the only way that I can see that the slower gameplay possibly being a hindrance if we end up getting to a scenario like that.
I mean, definitely. But if we go back and look at the last game, it seemed like Laro used a little bit of the copy-paste strat because the yellow +2, yellow skip, red skip, and then the blue skip and green wild sent within probably a half a second of each other. And I don't think there's any way he typed those fast. So KT will have to be really fast on his timing if he's looking for a defensive power play mid-chain. But yes, what you said completely makes sense to me, is going slow gives both of you more of a chance to think about your plays, and that'll be a composure thing for KT. Will he have? I mean, I'm sure he will. Has been playing this game for 20 years, but will he have the composure to use that time to think to his advantage, or will he be uncomfortable in that situation?
Big answer there by KT. Stacked +2, so 6 freshies headed in the direction of Lara. Gets it over to yellow. And now we'll see what Lara's going to answer back with here. High possession advantage now here for KT as he sits with 9. Double that on the other side for Lara. And a lot of times we'll talk about it with the +2s and the +4s. You want to get that quantity advantage in terms of the cards in your hand, but you have to be where you have to be very aware of what the return could be on the other side. Usually, more often than not, there's always an answer back, but we'll see if Lara plays it cool here and kind of saves that ammo for when KT gets a little bit closer down to what we call the proverbial end zone. And I like what you mentioned there, Vapor, too, about that copy and paste thing as well. Opportunity to type out the commands, copy it, paste it over there rather than just typing it out in the Discord chat. You know, I've
That's
considered that at some points of doing that and never done it, but that does seem like definitely it's a smart move to be able to have that rapid fire style of play if you indeed have a chain like we saw back at the end of game one.
I mean, I've used that multiple times in practice myself, but there have been times where the opponents just had really good timing and have been able to put their defensive power play in there before I can copy and paste the second part of my run. So it's not foolproof. It's been foiled multiple times, but it is the faster way and more reliable way of getting your finished chain through.
Lara wraps it
KT
back
iced.
to green. Yeah, remember we saw KT play the double +2 to get from green to yellow. And Lara with the number efficiency gets it back into the green. And now we'll continue to run. Now looking for the number efficiency to make sure that there's no light switch as... there we go. There's the light switch. Over back to yellow there for KT. Let's see if Lara has an answer back. Maybe a self-ditto to get it back to green. Let's see what the case is going to be here.
Yeah, looking at those +2s, I initially thought it was more a defensive play, just send Lara packing back to 18. But looking now, it's probably more of an offensive play, getting from green to yellow, similar to what we see with the reverse skip meta, but +2 meta this time around. And we'll see if those extra freshies come back to bite him. That's the issue with throwing +2s early, is that the opponent just stacks their ammo. If things go according to plan for them, they stack their ammo and could end up coming back to bite the initial +2 thrower in the end, but doesn't look to be the case so far.
Well, Trips play there with the double skip from yellow to blue there for KT. Now, if you have those ammo cards, if you're Lara, you might want to consider maybe using one of them. KT down to 4 cards. We saw game 1 end with a 5-bagger. KT could easily here maybe have a run to the finish. He's already used some ammo, but that doesn't mean that he doesn't have some in reserve.
I mean, if you're Lara, you look at the ammo that he's played so far, 2+2s, 2 skips, and you say, well, he's got to run out at some point, right? If I'm Lara in this situation, I maybe play it down to 2 or 3 cards for KT before throwing any sort of freshies, but throwing freshies right now is not a bad idea. The thing is, having 8 ammo cards in a hand. I mean, we saw that with what Lara had in game 1, but 8 ammo cards in a hand, that's once in a blue moon. So we'll see if that continues, and there's the freshies, as we expected.
Draws KT back there with the +2. Keeps it in blue, however, and KT will follow up with the blue 3. This is the first of 2 matchups here today where number 2 seeds will be in action later on tonight, capping off this Monday non-streamed game in the clubs region with Bad Brad taking on Stingray. I believe G-Man is in action tomorrow night, and I don't off the top of my head remember who the number 2 seed is in the other region.
Back into green, that's an interesting play.
Yeah.
He was drawing on green earlier. Did the +2s give him stuff in green, or is that an ISO play trying to ice both of them out, perhaps? That's an interesting read. I'm not sure what to make of that.
I would almost assume that it would be off the +2.
That makes the most sense to me. But knowing KT and some ridiculous moves that he's made, is he trying to flush ammo? Is he trying to get Lara to draw at some point? Because, realistically, he's known for his fade looks, but I don't think he has more than, 2, 3 green cards. 2 green cards, probably.
Iced out potentially on the red.
In red, that's interesting.
Lara
I mean,
with
he
it.
got out of it with the green. This is such a difficult game to read, if I'm going to be honest.
It is. Let's see, we did have the light switch from red to green there by KT, which we thought he was iced out in green already, so it might be a 2-color hand now. That might have been his only green there.
And that's
with
one of
5. He might be in
that's
a
one of the
yellow-blue
colors.
meta.
And yellow's one of the colors. Is that a mistake from Lara, or does Lara have another 5-bagger? I mean, it's possible.
We saw Lara use a wild back in game 1 to establish the color necessary for that 5-bag finish. Let's see here.
Are we going to have deja vu here in game 2? This game's been going on for a while as well. A few decently long games so far. I mean, typing forever. We saw this in game 1 as well. Typing forever to get that 5-card finish. Nice and without error. Is it the same thing here? Wild into a 5-bagger. And if so, was that given to him all from the double +2? Or was it a little mix of both?
Yeah.
I think that'll be a great question.
Saving
Question
went
to
on there.
ask. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, and
wow.
it'll be it. That'll be
My
it. Wow.
goodness.
Another 5-bagger to finish.
Another
It's deja vu.
Back-to-back 5-bagger. There by Lara. Well, Lara, it definitely looked like you definitely had ammunition, but to Vapor's point, how much of it was off the initial, 15-card start, and then how much of it was given off the 6 cards with the stack +2 to kind of help maybe build it up more?
Okay, so starting hand was this. And then after the +6 was this.
Yeah, that's just stacked.
Wow, added in a couple of wilds there.
I mean, my mind immediately goes to how big of a chain can I make with this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 card 8-bagger potentially if you just play numbers the whole way. But it was interesting to see the split ammo used to try and force the issue a little bit more for KT, put a little more pressure on his end. And the question begged is, what did KT have? Was it just nothing, a nothing burger to game, is same thing as the first, or did he have a little something to counter it? And I'm curious about the switch in that green 5. Trying to scroll back to get to it.
Yeah, we can ask him here. KT, I'm assuming the green 5 we saw there was off the +2 that he hit you with.
Nah, saved it forever.
Oh, he saved. Wow.
So I was off the green +2. I got a green +2 and a green 1. So all I had that game was the green +2, yellow +2, a bunch of pokers. So I figure, all right, he's probably. I just know how this bot works. If he's getting most of the ammo in game 1, I'm not getting. I got no choice to send him back. I've seen a lot of that meta, so I sent them back. Did the right thing. Almost worked. I mean, if I get the green 5 to switch off of, maybe I try a yellow 5 into the green 5 and really play tricky. But then I don't want to leave it open on a potential dead end. So I didn't want to go dead end back city. So I figured, let's go to blue, test the pressure. I went to what was it, green, because I figured, okay, looked at my CH. Maybe there's a reverse in there somewhere where he might be saving. Try to flush it out. Did everything right by the book. But at the end of the day, I haven't played anything yet that's been monsters. So trying to just push the pace a little bit. That's maybe my best move. Get a little bit of data for down the road, but he's doing a good job. Can't complain. Listen, at the end of the day, you got to play the cards right, and he's doing a fantastic job. I think for me, if I don't get the cards, then I have to keep doing what I was just doing, keep forcing the pressure, because at a certain point, if you just don't get it, you can tell as a player, okay, you're not going to get it. So you might as well, when you do get it, you can't take them home with you. Force the issue and see if you can get lucky. So been trying to adapt that a little bit. It's good practice. Like I said, that's why you get bankers at the beginning of the season. But he's doing a good job, so can't really complain there for sure.
Yeah, interesting thought there, Vapor, too, because while we're kind of talking about was a mistake doing those stack plus twos. KT does bring up a good point. A lot of times, you can look at your hand. I've been in this situation before too, where you look at your hand and you think to yourself, there is no way that this hand is going to win. There is definitely a lot more ammo on the other side than there is here in this hand, and so you have to go to the mentality of it's a risk versus reward that you're probably maybe going to give some more ammo to the other side, but if you're going to have a fighting chance, you've got to have the numbers on your side. Use those stacked plus two, plus four, whatever in the early midway portion of this game to draw them back, force them to have to play a lot more cards, and maybe you can rely on number efficiency. You said he had that poker hand there, KT did, so sometimes your hand is forced based off of what you initially get on the draw.
Yeah, sometimes you look at it and you say an unskilled player wouldn't be able to get it down to 5 with all numbers and a couple plus twos. But also, an unskilled player wouldn't play the green reverse red something combo and force the issue and win a turn sooner. And that was a skillful move on Lara's part, was split ammoing to the finish rather than trying to go for the 8-card surprise attack. I mean, ammo dense hand for sure. I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 out of 18 cards are ammo cards after the double plus twos. But will it be sustained? That's the question. In every single one of these, I remember your series with Ashley. Was it? I don't remember exactly, but last tournament you had crazy hands, and then it just immediately flipped on you after game 3. And will that be the same situation here? That's the $1,000,000 question that we always have to keep asking ourselves. Will the ammo flip at any point?
I still have PTSD flashbacks to that game you're referring to, that series you're referring to. Yeah, it can turn just as quickly as it's been in the momentum right now here for Lara. Lara's got the next 2 homestands here. Lara, no 12, no 15, full sends off the table, but what are we looking at here for your first homestand?
Let's go 13.
Okay, so we're staying in that upper tier region here, Vapor. It's been good to Lara here first 2 games. Gonna see if it's maybe helps him go up 3-0, but KT gonna try and draw it back at least a half here with a 2-1 and maybe make it 3 games in a row where nobody wins at home.
I mean, yeah. With my gambling attitude, the Jackpot June gambling attitude, my brain thinks, well, I just won on 12 and 15. I'm gonna go low tier here, but Lara's been confident in that high tier stuff. So 13, we'll see if the ammo is sustainable or if it does a little bit of a flip back to a little more even game here.
Nam's a ref, and he can correct me if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure if I remember correctly, on Saturday, his matchup against Yepez, I'm pretty sure the first 4 games were all won by the away participant, if I'm not mistaken. So so far we're 2-0 with the road team winning here. We'll see if KT's able to get 2 in a row here and make it a streak of 4 in the start of this series. So we start things off with the blue 6 in M. Let's see what the initial start's going to be here. Can just play it cool here in blue, and again in that upper tier here, Vapor. Now it's a question of, do we go with the number efficiency? As there's the early light switch from KT. Do we go with number efficiency, hold on to that ammunition? Now that Lara's up 2-0, do we maybe use ammo a little bit earlier, try and keep the pedal down to the floor? It'll be interesting to see now with KT playing from behind and Lara trying to win here at home, what the mentality change might be from when we initially started this series.
Yeah, I think it makes sense to me to play the regular game, to play the game that you've been trying to play all series. Go the ammo when it feels right, instead of holding it for too long. Just take what you can get, like KT said in the question at the end of last game. Take what you can get, because sometimes in these series you just know you're not going to get much. So you got to play what you're given, and we'll see if KT plays what he's given or if he tries to hold a little more as some pocket yellow threes. Run in the yellow. 5 straight in the yellow.
Oh, wow.
And a draw.
Yeah, Lara
Immediately
iced
iced.
out here on the yellow. We saw KT did that
KT
initial
will
light
run.
switch over to yellow. A lot of times we'll see that light switch where you're trying to find that one color to ice out the other side. KT found it, but now Lara going to bring it over into red.
I feel like that's not terrible timing for Lara. Just immediately switch it. Sometimes you like to hold, try to force Draw City in the yellow, but knowing KTO will probably have a switch out eventually. So switching it out yourself, it's just, doing his job for him, but also saving yourself a little bit of trouble and a little extra cards.
We've been climbing some stairs here. We had the 1 to 2 to 3 in yellow, now the 4 to 5 to 6 in red. We skipped a step though, up into the 8, and we'll just stand on that same step with a ditto play.
Looks like we where we were going hit our destination, the 8th floor, as KT's iced.
Let's see if Lara's able to continue to run in red here. So now both sides know a susceptible color. KT iced out on red, Lara iced out on yellow. And Lara,
I mean, that's
gives
what's
KT
going
an
to
escape.
happen if you're. That's what's going to happen if you're playing, running colors, which you don't see very much. It's vintage. It's 2023. Running colors until you draw. But that's what happens when you try to run one color for too long. Someone's going to end up drawing. You just hope it's not you.
Lara with the 0 sugar green, little check there by KT with the +2. Draws Lara back to 8. KT now down to 5.
Is that a little boost, or is he wary of something that might be coming? Or is he just out of green and he needed to play something? I mean, you see that a lot. You're out of you have a color, you have one thing of ammo in it, but nothing else. Maybe just a couple numbers, and you'll make sure that ammo is the last thing you play if you don't see a switch. So, I mean, he could be iced on green. That's a little bit of a tell that I've picked up on, is tossing a little double at the end of a color to show that you might be iced. We'll see if that remains true for the boss here.
This will be telling. Do we see a light switch? Yeah, okay, so there.
Yeah.
That answers your question right there. Uses
Easy
the
read.
wild to get it over.
He was iced on red, though.
Was he? Yes, he was. You're right.
He was. Interesting move. Really wild read. Was he fading?
He could have been.
He probably was.
He did it before, back in game 2 in the green. We thought that he didn't have any green left.
Wow.
Oh, wow. Ices out Lara as well. 2-color hand right now, it appears. This could be a +4 into something here.
Does he finally get the ammo? Does it turn on its head?
This has
like
to be a
this
finish.
bot is
there it
built
is.
to
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so he tested the waters there with the red, seeing if Lara would play anything. As soon as he had Lara iced out, knew he had the advantage there with the +4, got it over to blue, which I don't think we had run in at all this game. I think that was literally the first time we went over into that color, and ends up being the winning color to close this out. KT draws the series back here now 2-1. We are currently at a 3-game streak of wins on the road, and KT, it kind of looked like they're, as Vapor said, were you maybe fading there on the red? What was the mindset of playing the wild there in red? Because we had already established that Lara was iced out in yellows. So what was the choice of going in red rather than yellow there to then set up for the +4?
Well, I want to thank the one draw I got The one draw I got was a +4. I had nothing once again that whole game, regular wild, okay. But I figured this one I can win with this one because I love wild cards, regular. I don't wild +4 is okay. They're gonna be to the finish. If I get them, great. But now I hit the jackpot, so I figure, okay, I got the +4 on that one draw, which we've only drawn 5 times combined. So that's absurd. It's been very plan A oriented, so I figured, all right, I'm gonna take a chance here, take a gamble. Let's try the red wild. Yeah, I just went back to it, figure because I had no red and he switched off. It was just a gamble, and it worked out. But I think just once again the +4 came in clutch, and if I don't get that topper +4, this game probably isn't going to finish this way because at a certain point I figure I don't want to save the one last card I had, which is a regular wild finish. So I don't know. It was either that. If I didn't get that +4, it was going to be 100% KT Classic. 1,000%. Don't even try to finish the game. Let's bring this back to Draw City and even it up. But yeah, that's a crazy top decker because I've only drawn, I believe, three times, and my 3 draws were a green 1, a green 3, and a +4. So yeah, there you go.
If we're reading the game back, I mean, he's lucky that Lara played a blue 1 there on that first card, because if Lara doesn't play the blue 1, KT finds no switch.
Yeah.
And he's stuck with a blue reverse, blue skip, blue 2, and nothing to show for it. So I'm pretty lucky that Lara played a switchable number, but ended up being able to get the job done and getting the ammo necessary to facilitate that finish.
Yeah,
Then you
Lara,
guys know this too, man, real quick, not to butt in, but you guys know this too. This game is about number efficiency now. 2 years ago, what the hell was that, right? I mean, what is that, right? It was just run the color out. Everyone's getting better, and I know that, so I figured let's gamble a little bit, right? We're down, might as well. But it's been, relatively low ammo. Even with the first 2 games, it still hasn't been explosive yet, which is interesting for sure.
you got to gamble. We're in Jackpot June. You got to throw a little bit of a gamble there every now and then. Lara, we saw obviously in those first 2 games, very heavy on the ammunition. Was it just a little bit more depleted here in this third game, or did you have something there for a finish as well if KT hadn't been able to have that really lucky top deck draw?
Yeah, this game starting hand was a little rough. I did have a couple things. I had a +2 and a skip, which I could have played at some point. Let me just find it. Yeah, back in yellow, when we switched to yellow, I could have played the skip or a +2 to like get ahead in cards, but I chose to save it in case we went back around to yellow. But yeah, other than that, I saw my starting hand and I was like, okay, this is just number efficiency of the game.
Well, you heard KT mention it there, Vapor, number efficiency. Lara mentioned it as well. That's really the deciding factor, it seems, in a lot of these games. And a crucial, I wouldn't say necessarily must win, but it definitely was one that KT probably needed to be able to now draw the series back 2-1. And I did get actually corrected. Old main brain strikes again. I thought that all 4 of the first games, both the homestands and the Nam versus Yepez match was all 1 on the road. Nope, all 4 were 1 at home, so that shows how good my memory is. But so far, 3 straight 1 on the road here. If we're looking at this game 4, I don't necessarily see a scenario where it's must win for either side, but do you see that for either one of them?
I mean, I don't think there's really any particular things that we look at ammo-wise for this game or meta-wise. I think it's been even. I mean, Lara has the first 2 games, but KT switched it to the last 3, and we just see this game continue. One second. Excuse me.
No problem. All right, well, let's get ourselves set for the upcoming 4th game. KT looking to draw this series even back 2-2. But Lara's got the call here in game 4. Lara still no 12, no 15. What are we looking at here for game Quattro?
1 up to 14.
All right, we're going one up. We've
And
continued to stay in that upper region between 12 to 15 now here in these first 4 games. And look at that, starting things off with the
another ammo start.
+2. Is that our second or third ammo start? I know it's at least our second.
Yeah, I think it's at least a second.
Usually we end up seeing with an ammo start, we normally, especially with the +2s, we'll see the initial first player either cap off. Sometimes we've seen players draw back. I remember Myth and Yoshi actually did that back in their matchup on Saturday when there was an ammo start on the initial. So we'll see what Lara goes with here. Again, a trifecta of streams here today, starting off the week on a Monday. Going to be a busy one here during the course of this first half of the week as we continue to establish who's moving into the straight 16 here from the tilt 32, as Lara indeed does cap it off, and KT right out of the gate with the light switch over to green. Later on
Same
this
story.
afternoon, 2 o'clock, we've got Spades region, Charles Sanford and Brian. And then at 7 o'clock later on this evening, Spades region once again with Varigold taking on James Ellison. A couple of, actually 3 very split seeded matchups here. We got 2 versus 10 right now, 6 versus 14 still to come this afternoon, and then tonight 4 versus 12.
The parity in this league is unmatched, and we see it everywhere. Anyone can win in this league, and just how it is. That's the game of Uno. The parity's insane. Anyone can win. He talks about that a lot. I mean, Mac Johnson winning last turn as a 15 seed is insanity, but it drives home the point that this league has a lot of parity. It's a very evenly matched league. Back to green. That's
that.
What a play. That's intriguing.
Little poker hand there from
Drew.
KT.
He had to have been fading, right? Just drawing, just to do it. Drawing just to draw. Barely we're on 14. Just maybe I might get something good.
This is Lara out in green, and now KT gonna try and run here.
A bit of an uncomfortable position here for Lara.
Lara with the top deck, though.
Topper.
And now KT iced.
And KT's, wow.
Or is he? We thought he was iced on green before. Maybe maybe he's not.
Hey, nothing's for sure. Nothing's for sure with this guy. He was whacked out strats. But as far as we know, as far as we have been reported, KT is iced.
Yeah, visually, with the information we have visually.
What we're seeing is KT ice.
Exactly.
And Lara with what sort of response are we seeing here? Is it a lucky top deck switcheroo? It is.
So now over into the yellow here from Lara. First time we've run in that color all game. It was the 4th and final color yet to be played.
This is just 2023 vintage Uno. It's what we've seen. Just run the green until it's dry, and now we'll probably run the yellow until it's dry. KT iced?
Question mark?
Question mark? Yeah.
Also remember too, we had red off the get-go and immediate light switch into green, and we've played only 1 blue card. So those 2 colors still, they've only just been dabbled in a little bit. There's a lot still left to be played on those 2 colors as well.
What is... Okay, he wasn't iced. He's just messing with us at this point. He's having less fun playing the game. He has more fun confusing the guys in the booth today.
Lara iced out now in the yellow, and you know, the thing of it is too.
Agree with me saying that.
Here's the thing. You and I kind of felt like back in those first couple of games that we were able to get a read on both people, and maybe KT is saying, "Hey, I'm not only going to confuse the commentators, but I'm going to make sure that Lara doesn't get settled into a groove here and basically start to formulate a playbook against me. I'm going to give him a lot of different looks here, so he doesn't know exactly what direction I'm coming from."
I mean, that's what I was going to say. I mean, you can agree with it, and I'm sure Larry can agree that this game has been very difficult to read. I am not quite certain what's happening on either side. What I know is that Larry's drawing, and no one seems to want to stay in red or blue. I just want to switch between them. We'll see. Possibly stay in blue. Makes the most sense here. Yeah. A
Trying
bit
to
of
make
running
our
to
way
do
to
now.
single digits for the first time in this game. We've been up in that double-digit area still after the 14-card start here.
And KT cracks it down to 9. And Lara will almost assuredly get to 10 here.
You know what
Yeah.
else we haven't seen yet, Vapor? Ammo. It's been
What?
all numbers. So
It's been all numbers.
we're
Because no
lighting
one's
the
wanted to play it.
fuse. It's a matter of when it gets to the end of that gunpowder and hits the dynamite keg.
These guys have been trading numbers for draws all game. And if you trade numbers for draws for long enough, you're bound to get something. I mean, will we see fireworks when you get down to 7, 6, 5 cards? I mean, KT's in that range already. I mean, but Lara down to 9. I feel like any time now we'll see something happen.
We have to have been
Oh,
storing
it's a
up
draw.
ammo for so long. Interesting. Let's see if Lara's
Intriguing.
able to
He
continue
says
running or not. Gets it into
maybe the
red.
PA was enough of a boost for him.
Oh, wow.
What are we
Brings it
doing? That's the
back
second
to-
time he's done that today.
Is it-
Second time he's done that in
The
this
question
game.
has to be asked, is that a top deck? But it very well couldn't have been. He could have easily been saving.
Well, I mean, earlier we had the yellow 5, which eventually iced Lara, and now back to blue 6. Is it ice or is it? I
Maybe
mean,
this
we
draws
have
out
to.
an ammo card?
Thinking ammo comes here. Has to be right.
Lara
Down to
at
7.
7.
You don't want to draw again. It's a matter of, do I flush my ammo this early or do I try to force draw city again? And I'm not sure which option sounds better in this situation.
We're typing a long time. I'm getting shades of the first 2 games. Might be getting ready for that
Yeah.
copy paste here. Might have a big run.
It could very easily be. We've seen finishing runs of 5, 5, and 4 so far today. 7's not out of the question. We've seen
Oh, here we go.
much. I'm going to eat my words. Wow.
Oh my gosh.
That's monster.
It had to be, right? And more than likely it could have been on the other side too. We saw absolutely no ammunition cards played there on either side. It was all down to whittling the numbers and number efficiency and light switches. There had to be ammo that was getting stored up for a finish on both sides, one would have to assume.
I mean, the question I have for Lara is, like, it's the same question that I had in game 2. What if it was off the +2s? Was this ammo majority from your initial hand, or did you get a lot of it from those early draws that you had?
All right, let's see here. So my starting hand, I had. Oh, hold on. Let me copy it. There. I had the wild, I had the skips, I had the reverse, and I had one of the +2s. But the other 2 +2s I got from either the Draw City or was there a +2 that KT played? I don't remember.
He didn't play any
No,
ammo
there was
this game.
no
Okay,
ammo
so yeah,
played
that
at
was from
all.
the Draw City then.
Wow.
And that's poker with the 9s there. 7 baggers is crazy.
That is absolutely nuts. KT, like, you know, it just was feeling like one of those games where both of you were storing up the ammo. I'm still trying to wrap my head around, you know, trying to maybe get some type of a read of what you had there. There were a couple of times where we're like, he's out, and you were able to then ice out Lara in a specific color with a bit of a self ditto. What was the ammo stored up on the other side here?
No, what ammo?
Oh man.
What ammo? I mean,
Oh shoot.
Oh, that's rough.
that was one of the best games I played. The fact that I even got to that close. I mean, I just got 3 +4s, man. After he hit me with the whatever the hell it was. Let me see. What was it? Yeah, 3 +4s. Finally, it came. But I mean, at that rate, what do you do? I mean, after he did the triple plus two, it was long done. But no, I couldn't do much there. The only thing I did was I tried to. I don't even know what you do there. Try to. I don't know. There's that one move you probably caught on, where it's you if you know on that move. That's all I'll say. I think Vapor said it when I was doing. I do that one move. It's really finicky, but it almost worked. The crazy part is it almost worked. Because if I do that, I was thinking about power play there. I was thinking about maybe just ice it out, but you look at triple plus two. I mean, at that rate, what do you do? I mean, you power play, and then it turns into he's got a ridiculous run regardless. So sit and duck couldn't really do much there. So I figured, okay, I'm going to use this as a test session. That's really all I can do. When you don't have the hand like that, and you have the wins you have in the back pocket, test session it out. So I'll remember, okay, now that I know how to play this hand for the future, if I get it again, I'll just push the gas even more, because there was a time where I probably could have even pushed Straw City even more. Sure, I could have probably went to. Well, that's what I did actually. We were in yellow. He did that green 9. If he doesn't do that green 9, maybe I would go to red and see if I could flush something out there. But it appears that he was getting monster luck on DC. So yeah, I couldn't really do much there. That was the best effort I could do when you got that many numbers for sure.
And that kind of preempted what my follow-up question was going to be about you possibly considering the power play there, as it was looking like he was definitely setting up for a run there to close this one out. Lara takes a 3-1 advantage here, Vapor, and I think one of the biggest that stands out to me as we look at, kind of the game summary of these first 4 games. We talked about it at the end of the second game, and I think we touched on it a little bit of the third game. Even with the little mini draw cities we were in here in game 4, you look at the self-drawn cards, we've started no lower than 12 cards here in 4 combined games, and there's only been 17 combined self-drawn cards. That's crazy. I mean, it's not completely plan A all the way through, but I don't think we've kind of stayed in either the plan A, plan B, maybe dabbed a little into plan C, but we've not had to stray all that far from an original plan A.
And we've seen, 70% of the self-draws come in this game alone.
Yes.
This game 4. For me, I don't want to say anything that might sway Lara's decision on cards, but to me, as a player, if I was in this situation up 3-1 going back, I was not even going back home. That was his homestand. Sorry, right. I got confused on the seating, but if I was the home team here getting the start, it would make sense for me to go low tier here and play the luck game. But it's KT's start, and you've got to be almost certain he's going to go high tier here and try to force some sort of long, drawn-out game like we saw with 15 cards before.
Well, we'll find out here the answer to that question. KT, a pivotal must-win Game 5 coming up here on your home stand. Only thing off the board is 13. What are we looking at here?
Yeah, no, I don't play those games. 15, high tier. Let's do it.
Going another full
send again.
It's got it open there. Lara was able to take the 15 card start back in game 2 to victory, so that was still available for KT to go back to if he so chose. And he says, let's full send it one more time.
Yeah, I pretty much expected that. I don't think he's going to take any chances on low tier being down 3-1.
And now, as we're in this 5th game, maybe on both sides, the power play just kind of seems to be in neon lights now. On the offensive side, if you're Lara, on the defensive side, depending on circumstances here down the home stretch, maybe on the offensive side, depending on what KT's got in his hand here in Game 5, I feel like the lights are going to get brighter and brighter in terms of when do you use that potential power play.
I'm going to be honest, this game is, like, not to be self-centered, narcissistic, whatever, but this game is kind of giving me shades of my game versus Jenna that we had earlier. I was just getting nothing in the first 4 games, was able to fleece something in game 2, or game 3. Just getting nothing, and then immediately the tide switched down 3-1, and I was able to make something happen. And like I've been going back to this idea of the tide switching all day, but it's known to happen. You get really unlucky in the first 4 games, and then immediately it turns on its head, and sudden you're winning 4-3. But will that happen here? We'll find out.
Yeah, it's incredible to me. You kind of look at, obviously, as we talked about the high tier starts here, and you go back to game 4, you go back to game 2, and for KT, it's been basically having to work the numbers with a lot of ammunition on the other side. You would think at some point, we saw it obviously in game 3, a little bit of ammo for him to work with, but you would think that you would, in the span of 4 games, you'd have at least 2 games where you had ammunition to work with, and so far only 25% of the hands KT's gotten on the initial start as he had really anything to be able to work with in terms of ammunition cards. It's really been all about the number efficiency. So yeah, we'll see here. I mean, a 15 card start, you're leaving a large percentage of being able to get some good ammunition cards here, but as we established, 3 of the 4 games so far, it just has not worked out in his favor. Lara going to make the swap over into the yellow, and KT will go half off.
We've had a relatively low clip of switching per card compared to some of the series that we've seen this tournament so far, with what looks like one-ish in 3.5 or 4 being a switch instead of one-ish in 2.5 or 3 that we've seen in some other series. So that's an interesting storyline to keep an eye out for, is less switching and more vintage style Uno, just running until you draw. And we've had more number efficiency, more switching today, or not today, in this game right here, as we haven't stayed on a color longer than 5 cards, I think.
Yeah. Back into the green there after a little bit of a traversing into blue. To your point on that there too, I think it's been every single game here. I mean, this game it was Lara that initiated it, but we have very rarely, at least 1 or 2 cards into this game, stayed on the initial color that started the game out with. It's been almost immediately a light switch into another color.
Yeah, I mean that's interesting. I feel like you see that a lot, but it'd be interesting to look at if that does have a real effect on the game, or if it's just something that people do.
Trip 6 here. The green to the red, the blue. We just missed out on the Skittles as we'll go half off here in blue. And again, we're looking so similar to what we just had there back in game 4. All numbers, 0 ammo, and we're down to 7 cards each.
And see who makes the break. I don't even want to think about Skittles. I'm on a sugar fast right now. I'm not eating any sugar. Skittles they sound so good right now. But there's the break into yellow.
Big play there.
6 fresh.
KT.
Is this the same situation as game 2? That will be the question.
Well, you gotta wonder too, with playing the stacked +2s, he's obviously drawing Lara back, but it almost makes me wonder. Obviously, he's got to worry about what's on the return, but it almost makes me wonder, do you maybe then, depending on what Lara plays here, do you have the +4 to kind of establish what you need in a color to close the game out? We saw him use the +4 back in his winning game 3, to get it over to blue and finish out with a quad.
I mean, I'm not sure, but right now, Lara, it's probably in Lara's best interest to go back to blue, if possible. And that's the play that makes the most sense. But we'll see what the move is here. Is it freshies or plusers? Is it a go back to blue? It's running it clean in yellow. Interesting play.
Oh, wow.
switch immediately into red, and KT's down to 3. This is danger zone territory for both the power play and just a straight finish here. I mean, in this situation, KT probably wouldn't want to use the power play if it's not defensively,
No.
but I mean, if you want to go out and get this win, you really want to go out and get it. You don't want to lose this game. I mean, the series is over, your tournament's over, and see if the +2s is all the ammo that he had. And I mean, right now in this situation, you expect Lara to toss something, right?
Yeah. I mean, with Lara as far back and KT currently down,
What?
I don't think we're using power play at all here if you're KT. Gonna be iced out in red. I mean, Lara's
That was a
nowhere
balls to the
close
walls
to...
move from Lara there.
Yeah. And
See how long Lara can run before KT does something. And
It's
you think
interesting too.
Lara
One would assume that with that stack +2, with Lara continuing to run in numbers, you know, was there nothing in terms of ammunition on the return?
I think there had to be something with the way that this series has gone for Lara in terms of ammo. It's fickle. The bot's fickle. The question is how long will Lara run the numbers for? Because you're separating the wheat from the tares right now, and getting down to the nitty gritty. It's like, I don't know. I'm thinking of a good analogy. Like, yeah, I'm all out of good analogies for this. I was thinking like a pizza, but the pizza you start with the good stuff first, like a club sandwich, maybe like a turkey club. You eat around the crust first, and then you really get to the meat in the middle. And that's like the Uno sandwich of ammo, right? The numbers are on the outside, but once you get to the middle, you got ammo, and that's when you really start getting technical about things.
I feel like this is just you getting back at me for the Skittles comment. Now you're making me hungry with the steak sandwich.
I can assure you that after this game, I will be going into the kitchen and making myself a nice
Make one for
turkey
me
sandwich.
too, please.
I'll send a picture in Uno Lounge. I can assure you.
Oh wow!
And there it is.
There you go. Little quad play there. Double stack
It's like
+2 as well. Answer back and leaves it open on the yellow wild.
It was like a really funny time to do that though. Like KT was drawing. I feel like you make that move like when he gets down to 2. That's weird timing, man. I'm not sure what to make of that one.
It is weird.
I'll have to ask about that.
Like, I would have to assume there's one mitigating card out there, because if you're gonna make a play like that, one would assume the power play would be enabled, and then maybe close it out with 4 cards. I would have to assume that maybe he's got 3 cards that can get him to the end, and there's that one card he's trying to get to before he initiates the power play here. But KT with 6 freshies could easily, you know, if he has a wild off of this 6 cards, he could easily bring it back to a color that would ice out Lara.
I think the read is that he didn't have any blue or red, and that he's iced on both blue and red. Because if he's wilding into yellow, that's a really odd move. In that situation, for me, if I have those cards and I still have blue, the thing would be wild into blue, and then ice back out on the red with the red skip later.
KT
and
weighing the options here. You have to assume he's looking at card history here and figuring out what to play.
Oh yeah, for sure. And if I click on card history here and look a little bit, there's really nothing gone in yellow at all, yellow or blue, for that matter. And KT's got to be considering throwing plusers, or why run it clean? And you know, also considering with how this series has gone, is there a power play finish just off rip, and Lara needs him to play just 1 card? Like, is there a +4 back pocket? Like, +4 yellow 1, yellow reverse, yellow 1, or play yellow 9 or whatever. It's a very real possibility. It's a very real possibility. Just, what are we looking at here? Very curious to see what the move is.
Yeah, I mean, one would assume like the priority play would probably be getting it off of yellow, whether it be with a wild, regular wild, or a wild +4. Because
Yeah.
with 4 cards, let's make an assumption that maybe it's 3 yellow numbers and then maybe something to chain, 2 of those together, just needing that one yellow number to be played before the power play is enacted. You eliminate that if you can get it back to what you were talking about, either maybe the blue or the red, with the kind of the tell there on that double play might be 2 colors that Lara is iced out in. But it's a matter of, do you have the wild?
We'll just wait, I guess.
I mean, this is a pivotal play right here. This could be a play that determines the series. Lara with a 3-1 advantage. Both individuals have the power play available. I mean, I feel if Lara didn't have the power play, it would make this decision a lot easier for KT, but having that link that could put together the broken chain on the other side is what makes you have to really think a lot more about this decision.
Yeah, for sure. He's taking a hot minute here to figure out the play.
While he's considering his choices, we'll just remind everybody that 2 more games coming up here today that'll be streamed in the Spades region. Oh, actually, hold that thought. We'll plug that in just a minute. Here comes. Oh, wow.
Wow. That's big time. I guess he's not risking anything
Has to be
here.
defensive. Has to be a defensive power play
No
here.
idea what this move is. That's so odd.
So he will play. Well, I mean,
I was considering that, but I was considering that to be the last resort.
yeah. I don't know. Maybe you can get that one annoying card in Lara's hands and maybe control here in yellow. I don't know. We'll see. Now, so KT's got the power play. He plays the yellow 6. Now let's see what he does here. I mean, there's no way with 9 cards that he's
There's no way
got
it's a finish,
a
right?
finish, right?
There's no way
Does
it's
he
a
have a
finish,
finish?
right? I was thinking there's no way.
I mean, this is MRE Uno.
Nine
We leave nothing to
9 out.
speculation. We've seen some strange things happen here in these tournaments here in 2025.
It makes sense to be a finish. Nothing's gone in yellow. Nothing's gone in green. Nothing's gone in blue. Nothing's gone in red except the red skip. All the +4s are. It's possible. Like we could be seeing from 9 out.
That would be crazy.
Those two freshies could have just given him peak, right? I'm leaving everything on the table. I think this is a finish.
Let's see what we've got here. He's down to 8.
There's no way he power plays. There's no way he power plays if it's not. It's not. Okay.
It's not. Okay.
Interesting then. Really interesting.
Well, I mean, I get it though, because like we said, this is the pivotal play, and if he doesn't have the wild to be able to swap off to a color, specifically if he doesn't have the wild +4 for a drawback, the only thing you've got in your arsenal to be able to, maybe put that one extra card that breaks the chain there for Lara is the power play.
What is he gonna do off of it? That's the question.
Yeah,
now.
I mean, to your point, with very little played in those colors, I mean, you could light switch it, but it's not a guarantee that he's iced out. Looks like he might try doing a wraparound maybe here with a double skip meta. We'll see. Oh, he's had to go into the trips reverse, so he'll get it back to green now. He, in a sense, also is going to practically erase the stack +2 there. So he kind of mitigates that, gets down to 3. Now Lara has to make some choices here. We'll run clean here in the green 5. KT's going to run some numbers down to 2. We know Lara's going to try and get back to yellow. Use the wild to get to yellow, so that's obviously... Oh, wow! Now gets it
Intriguing.
back to... Now gets it to red. Interesting. KT at check. Lara at 3. Do we see a power play here to get it back to yellow, to finish out in yellow?
Can't power play. Can't power play. Boss is on Uno.
Oh, good point. Has to
I
just
mean, it
run.
makes sense.
Has to
In
just run
theory,
in
that's
red. KT for the
but
finish. Iced!
no.
Wow. Now can Lara get to check? Oh, there's the salute. Lara must have the finish here. How is it ending out? Is it the wild? It has to be a wild +4 to end in yellow. There it is. Yup.
Wow.
Had the wild +4 in reserve. Gets it to yellow. I would have to assume, looking back here, well, let's see, how many reds did Lara play? Lara played only the 1 red there, so I would have to assume that on the power play that maybe that red 8 was the card that was given there on the draw with the power play. Am I correct in that, Lara? And you just had to kind of...
Yes, it was. Right.
So I had to rely on the number efficiency there to be able to get rid of that. But we saw KT draw you back there with the power play. Obviously, I'm assuming, and we didn't see you have to use it here, but I'm assuming that before his power play was utilized, if that hadn't been done and if he had run in yellow, that more than likely we would have seen the offensive power play out of view, right?
So you're asking if I would have power played if KT hadn't?
Correct.
I don't know. After the yellow wild, I was thinking yellow 4, and then wild 4 into the green 5, and then just after that I played the normal wild. But I guess you could have used a power play there, but it would be a little weird, like yellow 4, and then what would it be? It would be green wild 4 into wild, and then power play draw, and then green 5.
Yeah, I think if he had run in yellow, then what you could have played your yellow. Okay, yeah, you probably, yeah, to your point, I think you would have had to wait an extra turn there for the power play. So yeah, that's a good point there on that. KT, you know, weighing the options there, you initially decided to go with the defensive power play. You know, obviously, I would assume that if you'd had a wild +4 would have made the decision a little bit easier in terms of what to play there to get it off of yellow. But, you know, we saw that run there as well. What was the card you were lacking there to be able to close this thing out?
I don't really know. I mean, the only thing I figured right there, let's go into yellow. So I figured I try to hide one. I knew he needed yellow, so I did a ridiculous play. It almost worked. The crazy thing is I saved the yellow 3. So why I did that is I figured, okay, he's got to go back to yellow at some point. And it almost worked. That's the genius part, because if I get rid of the yellow 3, I actually would win the game because I would have had red 7, but I banked on, okay, this kid's smart. He's probably going to need to go back to yellow, so I almost baited him back. That would have been one of my craziest wins. But I tried that because if you don't try it, then you're not going for the gap. And I went for the gap. I figured, okay, let's try to go reverse end around strat. Maybe I'll get back to yellow. The fact that I almost won that game with pretty much just the +2s, I can't be disappointed. And like I said, it's a little bit of a poker game at the end of the day. Now I need him to, I guess, go far, which helps my a lot of other metrics, which is going for me. But regardless, I think he played better than me today. Honest to God, even with the cards, that last game. Looking back, I probably could have just did yellow skip, yellow 6, yellow 3 into one combo. But then the thing I risk, right? Okay, I do that. I knew he had a +4. I get the check at a certain point. He probably would just flip the top off. So damned if you do, damned if you don't. Even if I win this game, we're going to game 6. We probably would have went to upper tier. I just wasn't getting it. Should I have tried 5? It's just not something I'm familiar with, man. It's not something I'm familiar with to go low. It's not my style. I play a very unique brand of Uno, I would say, compared to everybody here. I go upper tier because I know what it's like to see other people get screwed on 5, 6, 7. So I try to be very respectful and always go 10 plus. That's never going to change. However, I think for this last tournament, considering I'm relatively safe, maybe I would try something. But realistically, not the worst thing in the world. He did a great job. Now it's back to what I've been doing probably better since April. Just sit back, watch the party unfold, and yeah, enjoy life. It's kind of really where I'm at, Seth. When you have those banker wins in April and March, you can really let the others do the work for you. And that's where I'm really benefiting this season because the parity has just been unreal. It's been no consistency. Nick lost, I lost, Yepez lost, Myth lost. Uh, Monkey's still to play. He's got Llamas tomorrow. And there's just so much parity. So it doesn't really kill me in a sense to get this loss because he was already quad 3, potentially quad 2 now because he's got the Yepez KT wins. So he can go far and it makes my life a little easier at the end of the day. So play the long game. Now we'll go to T5, enjoy ourselves. But hey, buddy, listen, I got a lot of respect for this kid. You know, he really impressed me against Chomik because there were times against Chomik where I thought he was getting destroyed on reverse ISO meta. And then when he really did a good job was he went back into the playbook of trying to get the flush outs, and he did a fantastic job today. I'll work on some of that. I picked up some things from him for sure. But yeah, ultimately, even if I get this to a game 6 set, the inevitable was coming. It just was. You could just tell it wasn't really getting much on luck today, except for that 113 card start where I kind of got lucky with the +4. Even then, he had my number all day, and I accept that, and I'm quite content to now. Let's see how other people do the job for me, and it's kind of been my formula these last 3 years. So that's where I'm at. I'm happy for him. I think we're in a good spot. Like I said, 7 wins really helps you just put into perspective where we're at. And we'll move forward. So that's all I got, buddy.
We talk all the time about limiting mistakes. Didn't see a single card played wrong here out of either side with the ammunition, lack thereof, the number efficiency, whatever the case was of what the hand gave both of these guys off the initial start. Tremendous gameplay here this entire series. And just one final question here for you, Lara, because KT kind of touched on it. He's got a resume here in 2025 where the person that's eliminated him here in these last 3 tournaments has gone on to place no worse than 3rd, has had almost a guaranteed podium here. You had that victory against Yepez here in your career, now a victory against KT. What does that do as far as the confidence build here continuing on now into the round of 16 and then maybe get up there into the final 4 in Jackpot June?
It is a good confidence boost, knowing like, yeah, I can take on some of the best of the best. It also kind of adds like a bit of weight on my shoulders to try and like live up to that expectation. But we'll see where it goes. I'm excited to see what happens going forward.
Well, Vapor, definitely, it seemed like at least out of the gate, the ammunition was on Lara's side, but KT making some clutch moves there, whether it be on the offensive side in Game 3 or even there on that defensive side. That defensive power play, interesting timing, but completely understandable in retrospect and everything. I mentioned it, I prefaced it here at the beginning of this game. You know, this is KT talked about the parity, and it seemed like this has been here specifically in the round of 32 here for Jackpot June. This has been the round of upsets. There's been that incredible straight flush out there, but then you look on the other side of the table and the royal flush is waiting in the wings. I mean, the parity has been insane, and I keep talking about this as well, and I think that this is one of the series. You could go back to the Yepez Nam matchup. You could go back to Myth Yoshi. The seeding numbers are just numbers. They're visual numbers. The experience gap is so narrow here in D1 that on any given day, depending on how the bot also comes to play, it's always been an X factor here with this new bot meta. You on paper can have a favorite coming in, but pretty much every matchup you go into, both opponents are standing across as equals in terms of the experience level that they bring.
I mean, in a game like this where you're not getting much of anything, if you're KT, you just go out there and do all that you can. You put your best out on the table and you try some risky moves, and sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. And today, dice weren't rolling your way, the dominoes weren't falling your way, but at the end of the day, you have a great resume. You can kind of sit back and let the guys who've beaten you do the work for you. But also remembering that still need to get some wins on the board. You can't just coast through and make Super League. Still gotta get some wins on the board, but not a bad loss at all today. Not a bad loss for KT. And with that being said, if it's not a bad loss, then sometimes that doesn't mean it's a good win, but it is definitely a good win for Lara here. Very strong resume builder and will build their Super League argument coming into the later rounds of Jackpot June and into Tournament 5.
KT will look to bounce back in that said T5 here. Lara is moving on to the next round in the straight 16. As you look at the bracket, Lara versus Toaster Guy, going to be a 3 versus 10 seed here in the Hearts region in the straight 16, so looking forward to that one. And coming up later on today, we got the second of our streamed games, as we'll remain in the Spades region for our final 2 streamed games here on a Monday. 2 o'clock, Charles Sanford taking on Brian, and then at 7 o'clock here this evening, Varigold will be taking on James Ellison. Bad Brad and Stingray at 9 in the clubs region. That'll be a non-streamed game here to close out the night. Thank you all for tuning in to our first stream game here today. We congratulate Lara for moving on to the straight 16. Appreciate Vapor joining me on commentary. Nam, our referee. We'll see you guys later on this afternoon at 2 p.m. Eastern for Sanford versus Brian as we continue on Jackpot June here in the 2025 MRE Uno Tournament T4.
This has been a presentation of MRE Uno Division 1.